Hey now.
What's up, everybody?
How's it going?
What's up, fellas?
All you crazy kids tuning in. Hey, John.
What's up, buddies? What's going on?
All right.
It's good to see everybody.
Night. Yeah, man. A little after 10 here on the East Coast. Yeah. Analog Kid, how's it going, dude?
Very well. How are you, sir?
Absolutely wonderful.
Good to see John and Neil in the house.
Yeah.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fun.
Always good to be
John's
back.
a loyal customer.
Yeah, Neil, I
Yes.
I saw your latest post just a while ago.
The Frankies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lined up in a row.
Yeah, I've
and
got quite an arsenal being built up behind me. I don't know if I'm
Nice.
Oh, wow.
I'm building my army right now.
You're not kidding.
Yeah, here. Yeah. There's
Wow.
There's 6
nope,
of them back
I'm not
there.
kidding.
7.
And more coming.
Wow.
Yeah, and a couple I haven't even painted yet and done some stuff, but they're this show has been good to me and I'll mention it as we go forward. I'm not sure if you want me to do it now or a little bit later on, but I've got a special announcement from Daily Custom Designs that I'm going to talk about tonight.
Yeah, very excited.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You're busy.
Yeah, that and
Yeah, I'm busy giving myself mad tendonitis in the elbows.
Yeah.
And I put that link down in the show too, Neil.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do it now? You want me to talk about it?
Sure, man. Sure.
Okay.
See.
So
Look. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So for our watchers and viewers that tuned in last week, Tom introduced us all to a special guest that I think we all kind of knew about, but he hasn't been on the show before. A guy from down under Australia, Simon Hosford. And if you're not familiar with the name, Simon Hosford and his band did a fantastic live show of the Van Halen 1 album, straight through, start to finish, as they recorded it. And he did that at a guitar show or a music show and posted that. And that video has circulated all over the place. It's absolutely awesome. And we'll share there he is. There's my man. There he is. So, good to see you, Simon. Thanks for tuning in, bud.
Hey, Simon.
Hey, Simon.
So what basically happened was he was tuning in on the show, and he hit me up and asked. He watched us last week, and he tuned in and started hitting me up about, I think, the Neptune guitar, the Kramer Neptune that I showed a little bit of, and some of these things. And we just started talking guitars, and I told him I was familiar with that set that they did, and it's fantastic, and how good he was. Blah, it was just awesome. And then we got talking about a guitar build. And the subject kind of gradually shifted towards, what's the one guitar he doesn't have? What's the one he wants? And we discussed 5150. That's the one that he wanted. And here's the kicker. he is doing another show. His first show back is a month from now, August 27th. I got the details real quick, and he's going to film it, of course, so everybody will get to check it out. It's
Awesome.
at the Corner Hotel, August 27th. Now they're doing 2 sets that night. The first set is going to be VH1 album, the Van Halen first album. It's start to finish again, like he did with his white and black striped Frankie. Then check this out. Check out the set list. And he gave me permission to announce this, so I'm not ruining any surprises. But the set list for the second set is Good Enough, Summer Nights, Get Up, Cabo Wabo, When It's Love. Then he's going to bust out the full Live Without a Net guitar solo, the 13-minute guitar solo from Live Without a Net. Okay. Then he goes to Jump, Girl Gone Bad, Push Comes to Shove, The Full Bug. Oh. They'll end their set with Happy Trails, and then they're coming back. Their encores are going to be Unchained and Dreams to end the show.
That's epic.
So that is sick. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. So he wants my guitar for that show. He's going to bust out my 5150 for the Live Without a Net guitar solo. Now, that gives me just over a month to parse together all the pieces, to paint it, to build it, and get that to Australia with enough time for him to get comfortable with it. So we are moving at breakneck speed to get this thing done. Luckily, I've knock on wood, I've been good to some partnerships over the last year, and they've been good to me. So I managed to get Chris Locke to ship me a body overnight that he's got, a basswood body that he's sending me immediately. I talked to Sean from Pariah, who's doing up a special 5150 relic humbucker for me, a version of his Pasadena Black, but we're putting a little spin on it. I mean, everything else where luckily I'm getting all this stuff sent to me in the next week, and we're going to get this thing done, and I'm going to get it come rain, sleet, snow, or whatever. I'm going to get this thing to Simon in Australia in time for his show, and he's going to film it, record it, give us a shout out, and hopefully this will be big for both him and his band as well as me as a builder. So I'm super excited. And Simon, who's tuning in right now watching, thank you for your business. I am more excited about this than I've been since I built Tony's guitar. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Challenging, but a lot of fun, and it's going to be a good one. So
keep us posted.
That's what we got going on.
It's going to be epic.
Simon's link is down.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Check out his YouTube show, Smoking.
Yeah.
I don't think Van Halen ever played.
Yeah,
Push
you guys.
Yeah, I want to hear that one.
You're
right.
They never played.
I know. There's a couple on that list. I just can't. I mean, I'm ecstatic. When he sent me the set list for the second set, I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna get you this guitar. We're gonna do this. It's gonna be that's gonna be a testament to me too. I mean, it's gonna be like releasing one of my babies out into the wild. So it's gonna be a good time. There he is. dude, thank you, but no thanks needed. I mean, I saw your show before we met, Simon. I saw that show, and you absolutely can pull it off. So no bones about it, brother. You're gonna kill it. I'm gonna try to build you something that's worthy of your talents. So I can't wait till you post video of that. That Live Without a Net guitar solo is gonna be epic. So yeah.
The whole show, it's going to be epic.
Right on.
I'm watching the other one 2 or 3 times. I watched the other one. It's everybody. The band is great. The singer, I love his whole vibe. It was just the whole thing was great. Yeah, he was awesome. It was great.
Yeah, it's going to be good. So that's I just want to give a shout out. Daily Custom Designs. Check me out if you're interested in having a build done and everything. But right now you're on the back burner because I got all everything I got is going into this one for Simon first. There we go. Yep.
Neil's links are down below as well. Yeah.
Thank you again. Thank you much.
Yeah.
So let's get it on.
All right. So before we get too deep into these videos, let's see who is hanging out in the chat. Sandra is here. Hello. Keith Campbell. Let me scroll up. Give me a second. Keith Campbell.
Keith, what's up, bud?
Lenny, Lou, and Mary. Hello, ladies. Stephen Franklin.
Yes. We got all the regulars in the chat tonight.
Hello,
Dwight Bailey.
Dwight.
Yeah, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Obviously, we say this every week, but it's a Sunday night and it's late, so we appreciate everybody tuning in to watch us. It's awesome. Sweet. 7 over 8's in. Kick ass. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. All right. So, let me bring this up. So, these videos right here. All right. This is that list. Not a long list, huh?
Could be longer. Could be longer.
A lot of stuff left.
It's probably half of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let me bring this up. All right. Your list.
Yeah, Keith, we'll get there. We'll get there, buddy.
Hey, Kurt, on the road on the way home.
Kurt checked in.
Yeah,
what's
listening
up, brother?
on his family is thrilled. He's listening to this on his stereo. Do we sound FM?
Kurt,
Sweet.
what's up?
Kurt, make sure the family knows we're all coming to Thanksgiving dinner this year.
So you see the list of songs, but look at the other list.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And this list, I actually found the same list today too, and I'm so happy that I found this because there were a couple ones I forgot about, a couple ones I completely forgot about.
Yeah.
So, stepbrother style. Oh, Kurt, you're so funny. I just about fell off my dinosaur.
Can we play your drums? Yeah, and the pink pants, right? Yeah, that's right, Lenny.
Yeah. If you're not wearing pink pants, don't bother. Yeah, that's awesome.
Like that.
There you go. There we go. That's so hot.
I won't show it anymore, Kurt. I promise.
Love it. Love it. Oh, my God.
Kurt's driving right now, isn't he? So he can't even see it, right? You can keep it up there. Tony.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's talk about this list, man. There were some killer ones on there I completely overlooked for years, forgot about.
I wonder what the rationale was that went into putting that list together. I mean, it seems like they only went for the well-produced, ones they spent some money on, really, I guess,
Yeah, we were talking about that in the green room right before we went live tonight, and I don't have the answers, but I know like a lot of times there's licensing issues with Warner Brothers Music, might not have all the same ownership of Warner Brothers Music Videos. There are actually different departments and different contracts that they sign for that stuff to release these things. Now that's just an assumption that I know from other bands and other greatest hits packages and things like that. I don't know if the band had any input in it. I don't know if maybe they just decided they didn't like some of these, or if it just came down to the marketing department that just said, based on numbers, these are the ones that'll sell, and they don't want to overload it. I don't know. It's a great question though. I would love to know who put the final track list together.
I'll tell you what, I have a theory.
Okay. What do you got?
That was around the time they were still kind of pissed off at Roth, I guess, the whole time. So I think if the band had any input in it, they know they had to put Jump, Panama, and Hot for Teacher in there. They had to, right?
Yeah.
But then they probably figured, well, you know what? We're going to lean on the the later stuff because it's a theory.
Yeah, it is. It also makes you wonder too. Like, I don't know if they classified the Running with the Devil and Jamie's Crying, those, I don't know if they classify them as official music videos.
Right.
You know,
Right.
that's another thing. Those were obviously filmed as promos for the album.
Right.
But all those things were shot in the same day, you know, just sitting around during like lip syncing a live performance kind of aspect.
Right.
Those might not qualify as official music videos. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, and then there's that one that just came up last month.
So This Is Love.
So This Is Love.
Yeah. Keith asked about that.
The dinosaur.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally forgot about Loss of Control too.
Yeah,
once I saw that,
yeah.
when I saw that, it looks like a B horror movie too, like a really indie horror movie from 1979. It's like I kept seeing shades of like Reanimator or something like that.
Melbourne, Australia, checking in. Jason.
Keith's saying that they are official videos now. Those old ones, the originals from the first album. He's saying that they are classified as official videos now.
Now they left the Oakland stuff off, but they also left that one off too.
Which was their first official real video.
I know. And the Blue Angels Dreams is not on that list either.
Kurt says, I think that's why they never remastered the Sammy era albums due to being mad at Sammy and not wanting to give him any more money. So I could almost think that my theory about Dave there. How long after the MTV disaster was this DVD released?
That was in promotion of this.
Of that, it did. I don't remember.
They had to promote that night.
I thought this came out late after the Greatest Hits album.
Well, first the album, then the video, but the video package was always planned.
Okay,
that's what that appearance was. That appearance was to promote this Greatest Hits package.
Gotcha.
And also hint at a tour if they were going to.
Yeah, right.
So it was put together really
that got settled that night.
Yeah, so it was put together months earlier.
Yeah.
The original plan was they would have done a summer Shed tour the following summer, in conjunction with this, but then that all went up in flames that night.
Yep.
Oh dear Lord! I know.
It was planned a Roth reunion.
It looked good there for a moment.
It did.
Yeah, I was excited.
A brief moment.
I was so excited.
It did.
It came in 2007, so it was like about 11 years later than that.
Lasted a day.
Yeah.
Now, I like all the eras, but when you talk videos, the ones I like are the ones that are live or have a lot of live stuff in it. You know, the Oakland ones, you know, Panama and Jump, you know, um, Hot for Teacher too. A lot of live stuff in there. Not live, but you know, on stage stuff, and yeah.
I always wondered about the Unchained video that was released. Even though it's a live performance, you know, Eddie screws up in the beginning of the song. He starts the verse riff before they're done doing the intro, and then he covers it really quickly and goes into it.
Right,
But I always kind of wondered why Warner Brothers didn't go back and just edit that, like just take, you know, like splice another live clip of the audio to cover for that mistake. I'm surprised that they let that go all the time.
Maybe they didn't pick it up.
There's funny jumps in those videos where it's obvious in edit, and then also
because he's playing a different guitar at one point.
Playing a different guitar, same song, you know.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I mean. I mean, they could have gone in and edited and just taken like live audio from another, you know, like a splice of another performance and squeezed it in or something.
They played more than one night there, so they must have been shooting. Usually, when you're shooting, you shoot for a couple nights in case of mistakes and stuff like that.
Right.
Well. Yeah,
I want that whole thing released now.
We all know that, Neil, but that is a nice mistake, though.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, it certainly doesn't bother me when I watch it. It never bothers me.
As much as we've watched it, it's basically how we know it now.
Sure. You know? Yeah. I remember when I was first learning how to play the guitar and I heard the song on the album and then started watching that video and everything. I remember it made me feel good as a guitar player because I'm like, oh my God, he made a mistake. Yes, he's not God. You know, it was just something about like he's human. So, and of course, it had no impact on the song. He went right back in, and it, you know.
Yeah, you'd never see anything like that nowadays, ever, right? Ever.
You can hear little things like that on live stuff off the '81 tour. You know.
Yeah.
Cool little mistakes like that. Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
Yeah, I mean, on Right Here, Right Now, didn't they replace the entire bed track because they couldn't sync the vocals right? So they had to go back and recut the whole thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people, you know, the live album, the Tokyo Dome one, it's live. that was
for better or for worse.
That's live.
Yeah, all right.
Band sounds good.
Yeah.
And let's not leave out the fact that they did videos, Tattoo and She's the Woman.
Yeah, before that list came out. Yeah, it was kind of interesting, Tony, for what you said about like liking the live performances and stuff like that. You know, they also were kind of, they were, you know, not the first by any means, but they were kind of cutting edge in terms of being video vanguards, like MTV used to say, by putting together story elements and making music videos that weren't just live performances. You know, when they started putting together the Hot for Teacher thing like that, you know, it was very interesting. That was cool because there weren't, most of MTV in the early days was just whatever live clips they had of people playing. And I thought that was, you know, that was cool.
It's funny because, you know, on when A Different Kind of Truth came out, I really thought Dave would have been like, we're going to do a couple like, you know, classic Dave kind of videos for that. But, you know, they were just really basically performance, you know. I was kind of like, wow, you could tell he didn't, not much thought really went into it, I guess, you know. I guess maybe because at any moment that whole project could have fallen apart. That's the way I understand it. It was just like, that's what, what's his name? John Shank said, you don't understand at any moment this could, that could be, Eddie could pull the plug. So
the Tattoo one looks basically like they probably just shot them at rehearsals for the tour. You know, they look like they're on a sound stage.
Is that the Roxy? That was at the Roxy, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they went in and purposely staged that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I'll tell you, I still, you guys will think I'm crazy, but I love the jump video. I think that's maybe my favorite overall. I love the live videos. Don't get me wrong, like the the Unchained and all them, but just that video, just at the time when it hit, and just the low budget part of it, and just the the goofiness of it. It was just, I thought that was just a great, like, just a performance type of fake performance video. I just thought it was a great. It's still to this day. If ever on, I put it on, I watch the whole thing.
It was so massive at the time. It got
Yeah.
people who didn't like Van Halen into Van Halen, because I knew people, normal people that normally would not go in for Van Halen, were sold on that video. Did anyone ever notice when they come out of the solo, David Lee Roth does this yell out that's not on the record?
That should have been on the record. I love it.
I always think of that when I hear the song.
Yeah,
Right.
I love that.
But those Oakland clips, they were on the earliest days of MTV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were 81, 82. They were a staple of early MTV.
They were, right?
Yeah, I think Unchained was the first video by Van Halen I ever saw.
Yeah.
And that got decent rotation on MTV. Even Simon jumped into the conversation and said that he liked the little mistakes, the nuances that Eddie did. That's what endeared him to him as a player. So yeah, I agree with that stuff.
It's really the only historical record we have of Roth live, because the other three, they're all staged videos, even the Panama stuff, at Soundcheck. I mean, there's little live clips at Panama, but it's not really like a live performance, They just cut stuff in.
Yeah.
It makes you want to see more.
And I believe that Don Landy mixed those videos from that night too. The sound, the audio on it. I think he mixed the audio.
Good.
Yeah, they do. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he did. And I think didn't we talk? I don't know if we talked about this, but I thought Don claimed somewhere that they filmed the whole shows, the Oakland shows. But other people say no, they didn't. They only did those three songs or whatever that you see the videos for. But I know some people contradict that and say, and I thought Don Landy was one of them, and said they had a truck there and they recorded the whole show. So
yeah, and I'm sure they recorded the
I don't know why they wouldn't have.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Mike Anthony says that they had more, but the rest of it they couldn't use. However much more, but he said they had more, but it was unusable.
But even now, like the Led Zeppelin DVD that came out in 2003, they could take stills and various video and kind of sync it to the soundtrack, kind of fudge it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's shots in that video that clearly aren't that song.
No.
You know what I mean? Here and there. Right. Like the takeaways and the VH thing at the end that Tony said was at the end of the concert.
Right.
When they
even if you look at like Live Without a Net, that concert, they cut out certain songs that they played live that night that didn't make the DVD. And a lot of times the editor just cuts to an audience shot and then splices the audio, and so it looks seamless when you're watching it. You don't know what you're missing.
Even Eddie's solo in there. I mean, the whole 51, 52, every time I saw him, he did the Fear Release thing at the beginning, the Beethoven thing. And then,
if you actually watch that, you can see where in 316, where it does cut.
Yeah,
it cuts and jumps to. Yeah, there's a moment where I'm like, that's not the way he played it.
You can tell it's something a little weird.
Do you think it's because he didn't want to pay the rights on it?
I don't think there are any rights. I think that's in the public domain for release now. I don't know why he didn't. Because I love the way he played that too. On the bootlegs, it's some great.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to like their videos with Hagar tended to be like When It's Love or Run Around, where there was a concept, but it showed them playing on some dark stage or something, but I prefer the older videos,
I agree with you. I was
not because
happy.
it's Roth, but just because of the videos.
I was actually happy when they did the 2 top of the world videos. You know, the one that was like the NASA kind of one, and then they had the live black and white top of the world video.
Right.
You know, that was actually a real actually live video of it. You know, so and like you said, the Dave era, we have that stuff. They never really did that in the Sammy era. It was all canned and produced stuff. You know.
Yeah. Tony, I'm curious and I don't know if you've even thought about this, but when you say you like the old live videos, was it because the audio was live too, because they were live performances, or was it? I mean, because a lot of bands they'll do a music video cut with live video performances, just cut to the soundtrack or the album cut of the album, and I've seen that done a lot of times. So I'm wondering if you like those because of the energy of the actual live audio too.
Maybe both.
Yeah.
Maybe both. You know, the Oakland shows at the time really captured what they were live. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, it did.
You know, and the rest of them that you saw were just videos put to the actual track of the album.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, it's the only historical document of the Roth era live, because all the 1984 videos are staged. You know.
Well, he danced the night away was a lot live also.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Plus, you saw Fair Warning, T-Cake, so it probably reminds you of the show that you saw.
That's true too. Yeah.
Well, I watched them in '80 also. But that era, looking back though, oh yeah, it was a good era. '81 was, you know. But what the hell happened in '82, and whose idea to dress up in the ridiculous characters that they did? Oh dear Lord. Yeah. I can see where that didn't make the list.
Yeah, but it's technically their first video, so for historical purposes, it's part of the Van Halen narrative. Shouldn't have been cut.
It got cut, dude.
I disagree with that decision.
It got cut. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder why they just didn't go chronologically. Like, that would have made perfect sense. You know, that's...
Well...
Even if they wanted to leave stuff off, even if they were going to eliminate some of them and not do every single video, I still wonder why the track list didn't just go chronologically.
It makes it look like the Roth era started in 1984.
Yeah.
Not a lot on.
It's just amazing to think that Hear About It Later was a video on MTV, right?
That's awesome.
It's amazing, right? It's just like, what?
Yeah.
Who would ever think that MTV would ever, you know what I mean? Like kids said, we got to be grateful, you know what I mean, for that, you know?
Yeah.
That's a great song. That's one of my top 2 picks from Fair Warning.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Dude,
don't you dig that, Neil?
Yeah. Yeah. I bet that was
What's
my
your number
second.
1 pick? Mean Street?
Mean Street.
Yeah, I'm Mean Street. Hear About It Later.
Yep.
Hard to take
absolutely
out. Hard to do.
I know, and that was tough. I remember we talked about the same thing, and
maybe it's because it's just played and we've heard it a lot. It's still great.
I think so too, because I think when we talked about it that night, you know, I remember I remember as a kid, that was always my favorite for the longest time until I got older, more mature, became a better player and I think then I started to gravitate towards the less, cycled songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John, do you like Mean Street and hear about it later?
You know what? It depends. I go through stages. Right now, for the last 3 years, dirty movies and that's my like
a good one.
My go-to. I always go to dirty movies.
Nice.
Right now, that's
because of Wolfie, they brought it back.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason that I got so into it again. It's just like I love just cranking that song. It's so good.
Yeah. So what's the other? That's one.
You know what? Push comes to shove because of the solo. I mean, I think that's one of Eddie's top 3 or 4 solo. You know what I mean? It's just, and then you hear Dweezil Zappa talking about it and stuff like that. It's just, the little nuances and stuff like that. It's just, I have to say, that's another one.
No one ever says Sinner Swinging. That's
you know what? That was my next. I was going to say Sinner Swinging.
If we talk about it long enough, we'll mention every song on the album.
Yeah, exactly, right?
In those days back in high school, 82, when you would see one of those Oakland clips, you had to sit there and wait. You never knew when it was going to happen. Maybe morning before school, maybe late at night. But sooner or later, one of them's going to come on. And most of the time, it was So This Is Love.
Right.
But every once in a while, you'd hear about it later, and Unchained.
Yeah, Unchained. When it would come on, you'd hear. I'd be in the other room, and you hear that. How it opens up. You'd run in from the other room, try to get the VCR to record it.
That's right.
You know what's funny about that? The same thing. Go ahead, kid.
All right. That was part of the magic back then. I think we're kind of spoiled that we can just dial things up with the touch of a finger now. Back then, that was the magic that caught it. It was like a magical moment,
Right.
That's what I was just going to say. My favorite part about the Panama video was you had about 4 seconds of the airplane flying in first, which always clued you into the song coming on. So every time I would hear that, the biplane flying by, I had enough time to pop in a VHS tape and hit record no matter where it was. And I always cut into the middle of something my brother watched all the time. It was like right in the middle of something. But that was the coolest thing was there was like a staggered intro. So I always had 4 seconds until the song came on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those were good back then. Videos kind of changed. But, I think they nailed it during 84 with Jump. Panama, Hot for Teacher. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a trifecta right there.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Back then, they were kind of like the cutting edge rock band of videos because before that, the big stars were really like Prince and Michael Jackson and Madonna. Yep. They were kind of the first band to, they were a hard rock band then. Maybe not by today's standards, but then they were. And then they seized that and they kind of, that pushed I'm sure that's one of the reasons why that record sold 10 million copies. Because they weren't just an audio band anymore. They were a visual band.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And when did they have time to really film those videos? The Jump one, you could tell it was kind of rushed a little bit. Right? They probably did that December 28th. They probably filmed that video. But, Tony, when did that tour kick off? Is it January 17th, around then? Yeah. 84?
Yeah.
So, when did they? Obviously, the Panama's got a lot of live clips in it. I think from Philadelphia. I think that's where those live clips are from. But
they made that like March or April.
Right, and then Hot for Teacher. When did they do that? Because they had to be in LA.
That was later. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a little later.
That must have been on a break in the tour.
Yeah, must have been right.
Must have been.
It was months.
Yeah, because there's no
later.
live footage in that. It's all staged, the whole thing.
Right.
Jump came out New Year's Eve on MTV. Panama, I remember watching that when it debuted. I'm like, what is this plane? You know, but yeah. But
Didn't
yeah,
MTV used to do like Friday night video fights and stuff like that? Like I remember it was before there was a count. Maybe it was a countdown or something. I'm trying to remember this because I was young, really young then. But
NBC.
I feel like
USA.
NBC.
Was it Friday night video
Friday
fights or
night
something like that?
videos, yeah.
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 And sometimes they'd be hosted by like a star.
Right. Remember David Lee Roth was on one time on Friday Night Videos. They interviewed him, and that came out at like 12:30 at night, though. I think it was like 12:30 or 1 in the morning. It was late. But,
Yeah, it was for people like if you didn't have MTV, you could get like a block of hour videos hosted by a rock star. Because where I lived, it took a really long time to get MTV. So our first exposure to music videos were through shows like that. There was another one, John, called Night Flight that aired on
I remember Night Flight.
Right?
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah, but what I'm talking, there was MTV did a thing though because they build it like a boxing match, and it was always the whatever video won on a Friday night. The next week, that video was the champion, and another challenger would compete against it. I thought they called it like Friday night or something, video fights or something like that.
Maybe remember that one.
Celebrity match or something? Is that what
No. It was a video. It was a video battle off, and it was I don't know. Maybe I dreamt it. I don't know.
those Oakland shows were in MTV's rotation so early that there were very few videos that MTV even had. But most the stuff you saw was like Aerosmith and Nugent and old Van Halen.
And they had a lot of those old England TV shows where it would be like Cream on TV.
Yeah,
Who,
Top of the
those
Pops
weird,
and stuff.
Yeah, they called them like closet classics.
And then everyone started making music videos. Everyone. So
well, Dave certainly enjoyed the medium of music video. We all know that. Even once he went solo, that guy loved MTV. Hey, aren't you driving somewhere?
Oh, I just want to flip it around, but I can't do it.
Hey, that looks like Tom Weber set that up.
He did.
Look at that action.
Yeah,
Oh, dude.
I know Tom Weber's action.
Look how we get this. Look at that. Like I said, an ant couldn't do the limbo underneath those strings.
You should tag that. That's a good quote.
I'm home, boys.
Rev.
Sweet, welcome.
Yeah, what'd I miss?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not a damn thing, bro.
Some guy with pink pants on his head.
I saw that.
You did see that.
So hot.
I did. That's about as quick as they were on, too. How far down the list did you guys get? I haven't been watching the last little bit.
We haven't really gone down the list yet. We're kind of just randomly talking about videos and early MTV stuff. Although now that you're here, we could either break down the list or we could go top 3 or something.
Looks like Neil has my photo hanging up in his living room. Look at that.
Wait, oh my God, that was great. Instead of the logo?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I'll never show it again, brother.
Yeah. How you guys doing?
Good.
What's up, CK? John, Neil, Tony.
Good.
I like Neil's idea of doing a top 3. That sounds super cool.
Yeah.
Let's that'll be a nice, and then we'll check in on the chat too and see other people throw out their favorites. Let's get some feedback.
Yeah. By the way, Neil, someone chimed in. You were right. MTV Friday Night Video Fight started on August 8th, '86. David Lee Roth versus the Monkeys. So yeah,
I wasn't drunk
Friday
then in
Night
elementary
Video
school.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was the applesauce. It wasn't the Jägermeister.
Yeah, exactly.
Then they went to like Dial MTV where they had voting.
Yeah, this was definitely before that.
Yeah,
It was definitely before
August
that.
'86. David Lee Roth
Thanks,
versus
Mike.
Monkeys.
Good call, Mike. Awesome. Cool. Kurt, before we do the videos too, I was just going to point out next week, if all goes well and there's no further COVID shutdowns in LA and everything, I'm going next Sunday night to see Caleb and Nerd Halen play down here in LA. So it's going to be a good time, man.
Oh, dude, I wish I could come down. My wife's going to a thing called Watershed, which is a country festival about an hour and a half from here at the Gorge in George, and it's a big to-do. She's taking my daughter, so I'm home with my son. So otherwise, I would take a Southwest $79 flight down to LA and hang out with you.
Sweet. Bring the kid. Let's go.
You ever been to the Gorge?
I have so many times. That's where I saw Van Halen for the first time.
That's amazing.
Have you been there?
No, but I've seen pictures. It's one of the venues I've never been to. It looks freaking amazing.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. I'm glad you know about it. It's along the Columbia River, which is a huge river that runs through Washington, and it's an outdoor amphitheater. The stage, you can see the river behind the stage. The sunsets behind the stage. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah. I'll find a picture real quick while you guys are chatting.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
The only one that might beat that is Red Rocks, but it's got to be the second best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to Red Rocks. Haven't been to the
Nice.
Gorge.
Who'd you see at Red Rocks, Neil?
I've seen a couple of people there. I think I saw Goo Goo Dolls there. I saw Dave Matthews Band there once. I mean, usually the bands that whatever girl I was dating wanted to go see. But it's a great place for a show. It was killer. And then they got like a museum. You walk through it and it's just got all the legends. I got my picture taken next to like a Neil Young mural on the wall too from when he played there in '70 or something.
Nice.
Oh God, it's just amazing.
Nice.
So sorry, this is a small iPhone 3, but so you can see the river back there. The stage.
Oh wow!
There's the sun.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I've seen many concerts there. I saw the Sam and Dave tour there, Balance,
Nice.
Van Halen 3, Lollapalooza with Snoop Dogg and Metallica. I've seen Alice in Chains there twice. Bunch of bands.
Yeah, that's your local venue.
That's my local venue. Yep.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Awesome.
So, CK, did you read that article about the David Lee Roth shoot?
I only got pictures. I didn't get an article.
Oh,
I
you
got
didn't
the
get?
photographs.
Oh, shoot. All
No,
right,
you
I'll make sure.
got 3 photos. I got the 3 outtake photos.
Oh, I thought I sent you the link to the article, but I'll make sure and get it to you
believe you,
tonight. Yeah, it's a good read. I actually read it that night too because I just got interested in it again.
Yeah, if you find it, I'll
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, I'll shoot it to you for sure. So, did you guys figure out what videos didn't make this compilation?
There's a whole list of them.
Yeah.
Did you guys talk about it?
Yeah.
No,
totally.
well, yeah, we mentioned a little bit. Yeah, we've got I printed out the list. Tony's got a screenshot of the Wikipedia
I mean, if you're
page that
looking for
shows
the
all-
history of Van Halen on videos, this thing would make you believe that 1984 was where they started.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's crazy.
Now, look at this. This is more that got left off.
Oh, excluded. Okay, there we go.
Just as many, yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
They need to put out another set,
Yeah.
volume 2.
Well, yeah, it is funny that, it makes you wonder when they labeled it Volume 1. Obviously, they intended on continuing their careers, and they had more videos to go. So
I heard a rumor, and don't quote me on this, but I heard a rumor that they were making some videos for Me Wise Magic and Can't Get This Stuff No More out of old footage from the Dave era that
Live stuff?
just footage over like the years. And then they were going to play the music over it. And like they got halfway through both of them and then ended up not putting them out. like a montage of Van
Halen
Halen from 76 to 84.
Man,
that would have been cool.
How cool would that have been?
Very cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
They don't have any videos like that. Not
I
from
know.
that era, anyway.
No, that'd be cool. They just, I love the band, and all you guys will probably agree with me. The music did the talking, and I think that was their mantra. If it didn't have anything to do with the album that they were releasing or the live show that they were going to put on tour, they really didn't care unless they like had to do it or their hand was held to the fire.
There's more information has come out on them now since they're over. During their heyday, they were pretty tight to the Vest band, which you got to respect. You know, it's a very cool way to run a business. But
yeah,
you know what I mean? There's more information coming out on them now that people are writing books and stuff. But
yeah, I think their main concern was buying the album and seeing them live, and I think all the other stuff
didn't matter.
Yeah, and it probably benefited other people more than the band, so they just didn't. I don't know, John. What do you think?
I agree. I don't know. I just think that I think they subscribed to that whole thing of leave them wanting more. You know what I mean? It was just like they.
Oh yeah. I just
that whole, like leave them wanting more. Just like we were talking about a little while ago about how we had to wait for the video, like Tony said, on MTV to come on. It was going to come on at some point during the day. You know what I mean? Like the fair warning videos. So you had to. It's like you were always like craving more stuff that you could never get because they would only give you a little bit at a time. And I think they were old school like that. And I think their whole career, not Dave so much, but I think Eddie and Alex and, I think they didn't, and I don't think they really cared. Like you said, it wasn't their thing. You know what I mean? They were on to the next thing probably, what they were going to do next, And
especially the latter part of their career, they were very much radio silence unless they had a tour to sell or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Other than that, you wouldn't hear from them, which is kind of cool,
Yeah.
They weren't buying into the whole social media.
It is kind of cool because most of the time bands, when they need money, they do stuff like that. And obviously they didn't, even if they needed money, they never sold themselves out that way. You know what I mean? Which is good,
Well, with record labels too, a lot of times with a younger band that's not as established and everything, the record label will tell them, even if you don't have anything to promote or anything, you've got to stay relevant. You have to keep your name on people's lips.
Right.
That's
especially
what you
today.
have to do. Yeah. So you got to find a way to go. You got to keep yourself out there and engaged and everything. And Van Halen didn't have to do that.
Because they came up from the time that they came up, they could always kind of play by the old school rules. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They had a large enough fan base. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it was a diehard fan base. That was it. They could certainly take a year or two off from an album and not lose any fans, which nowadays that happens.
They benefited from being really a late 70s band, and they're known by most people as an 80s band, but I think they benefited from that classic rock, their roots that they had, that foundation of fans and everything,
Yeah, they were one of the last ones in the door, at the 70s.
Right.
Yeah.
And they kind of ran their career that old school way. Album tour. Other than that, don't sell yourself out too much.
Yeah, they were also probably one of the last bands that I can think of off the top of my head that banged out an album a year, because that format was the way record labels drove bands through the 60s and 70s. And then all of a sudden you got into this period with videos coming out where the band would try to milk the album as much as possible. So you had a record label saying, no, we're not going to release anything. We want to release another single from that album, release another single. They want a band to release an album every 2 years, every 3 years. And Van Halen was like the last band to kind of do that, put out an album a year kind of thing.
I mean, when you look at that first 6 years, it's no wonder they didn't burn out. I mean, records with tours, just nonstop.
Yeah.
It's amazing the quality. A lot of bands you can follow in the 70s did that as well, but the quality dropped off.
Sure.
It's hard to do,
Nothing like the level, right? They maintain that level.
Coming off the road, and just
it's amazing.
That's hard.
Yeah.
And the same producer and same engineer, for the first 6 albums, and they all went platinum. Yeah.
Yeah, and when the tours are getting bigger,
they didn't go down any weird avenues. They kind of stuck to their
format.
I don't want to say formula, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's why they're the greatest American rock band. I mean, arguably, I'd say the greatest rock band hard rock band of all time. I don't care because of the way they worked in that first 6 years and their output. I mean, it's just incredible. Those first 6 albums, it's like that's unheard of. Yeah,
I know. I like to run around saying it's the best first 6 in the history of rock and roll.
Without it.
I can't think of anyone who had that consistency of quality in the beginning.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe the Beatles.
Yeah,
but they're not American, you know.
Some people say Zeppelin.
Yeah, but
I can kind of see that.
But American, you know, Zeppelin, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, AC/DC, those are all, you know.
Right, AC/DC, the first 6 are pretty freaking killer too.
Yeah.
As far as an American rock band, I mean, Aerosmith was good, the first 4, but they Draw the Line's not so good.
Yeah.
But they had Dive It Down isn't because it's covers, you know. So
some of their older stuff wasn't popular until the 80s, you know. With Aerosmith, that's one of my favorite bands.
Yeah,
but they
were 4 Aerosmith are pretty killer.
No, they are. Yeah. So not to change the subject, just real quick. Anyone read or listen to Valerie Bertinelli's book?
Her newest one that's coming out, or is it out yet?
No, the one that she wrote like in 2005 or 2004.
Yeah, you know, I always wanted to read it, but I never did.
I just listened to the audio this weekend. I burned through it in like 6 hours.
Kiss and tell on Eddie. Does she talk about his problems?
She does, doesn't she? Like big time, right?
Really?
Because I know Sammy did. Did she go there, or did she leave him alone?
She went there, and all I will have to say, I love Eddie. I mean, there is my dad, my grandpa, and the pastor at my church, and Eddie's right there as number 4, and then number 5's Neil.
Thank you. I seriously had to hold my breath for a second. I'm like, whoa.
You're catching up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Only a matter of time.
Anyway, basically, he went to rehab every year and started drinking again when they hit the studio to make an album.
I just heard the one story where on New Year's Eve when her father punched him out. They had to go to the hospital, and Ted Templeman had to drive from Santa Barbara all the way down because Valerie called him because Valerie's father punched Eddie right in the face. So like,
right,
wow. Like so we didn't know, you know.
Yeah, CK. It was like 80 Diver Down. He went to rehab. 84. He went to rehab. 5150. He didn't go to rehab. He went to rehab before OU812. He went to rehab in between OU812 and From Lawful Carnal Knowledge when Wolfgang was born. He went to rehab again before Balance, and then went to rehab again before the reunion tour with Roth.
In 07? So the party's on tour, but he tries to get straight to write? Is that what his deal was?
He gets straight after he gets off the road when he's home with Valerie, and tries to be a husband.
He doesn't want to be around him in that state.
And then when it comes time to write music, he goes right back into what he's used to. And you got to read the book. It's good.
Drinking lends to his creativity, or so he thinks.
Well, the problem with most addicts in the entertainment business is they think that. That doesn't necessarily make it true, but they usually think, I can't do this. If I was drunk when I wrote this album and it was sold 10 million copies, I got to be drunk every time I write an album.
In the case of Aerosmith, it was true, though. They never wrote anything good straight.
Yeah.
Get a grip. Get a grip.
Billboard 2015. He said the Coke was for one thing, and the booze was they would balance each other out. He goes, I did the Coke for this and the booze for this, and it kind of put me in the mindset where I was able to write stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like he himself said it.
Yeah, if you guys get Audible through Amazon Prime, it's free, and you get a free book every month or whatever. I skipped through the book on Audible till when she met Eddie. So I basically listened to like the last 4 sections of the book, but it was really good.
Kurt, you're not interested in her childhood?
No, I really wasn't. But it was really interesting. I would say, who asked how much she talked about him? Was it John? I would say probably half of the book. CK, half the book was about him, and she talks good about him. She still loves him, to that point.
Yeah, I think she went in the dedication. I think she write something like, "Hey, you know what? You're a good guy. You're a good person." But the thing that you can say, I think we'll all be happy about it, is that he seemed to really have conquered that one demon that we never thought he would conquer. You know what I mean?
Finally did. Yep.
And he finally, so, at the end, he seemed to really, the thing that really stuck out at me was when Tom Weber said that, Adam Reaver was with Eddie and Matt and Bruck, and they were, who we're going to get to be the guitar tech on that 2015 tour. And Adam said, hey, Tom, why don't you call Tom Weber up? And Eddie called him up, and Tom was coming to an airport. And Tom said, Eddie said to him, I'm not that a-hole that I was last time. I'm not that guy anymore, Tom. You know what I mean? Yeah. The last time Tom worked for him. So, I think Eddie realized that, hey, I wasn't, just the way I was around people and treated people. And so I think he really came full circle back to that, the guy that we originally liked, when we were all young kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So check it out. If you're a fan of Eddie and I'm a historian, I love that type of stuff. And it was really good. I was surprised. So there's my plug for the night.
Cool.
Not to change this, not to change the subject into a totally left field, but I just finished it today, so I thought I would mention it. Yeah, I am a nerd. I'm a nerd.
Nice.
Oh Lord.
All right. Well, should we take Kurt's advice and or let's do top threes and go around?
CK's not mine.
CK, yeah, kid.
I think it's going to be pretty easy. Our top three.
No, it was your idea, Neil.
So real quick on the formula, is it the video itself that we're ranking, like the content of the video, like mixed with the song?
Cake, it's your show. I would say yeah, we kind of have to, because otherwise, I mean, we'll go album by album and rank songs and stuff like that. So obviously this has to be based on strictly video, right?
Here's what we'll do.
The boss speaks.
I'll kick this list off, but first, let's unbox something. What do you think?
Got a new tattoo?
All I know is Tony's mailman cannot wait to retire. He never can just drop something off in the mailbox. It's always a package that he's got to walk up to the door, put it behind the pot with the flour, make sure no one steals it.
That's mailbox right there.
Kurt, what was the name of Valerie's book? What was the name of Valerie's book? What was it called?
Losing it, or something like that?
Yep, Losing It.
Losing It. Good.
She talks a lot about her weight and eating, but Losing It. So if you got Audible, that's the way to listen to it, especially if you're doing some work on those guitars. That's a perfect thing to listen to while you're, relicking away.
Nice.
Oh, I've seen that.
Dude.
Turn it around.
Let me get the mess off.
You keep your beverages cold in there and warm.
Yeah. Has a little
nipple
thingy.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
Did it have a secret compartment on the bottom that you can unscrew, like the Jurassic Park shaving cream thing?
Yeah.
You can hide a micro disc in there or something. Do some spy stuff.
No.
Didn't the football player get caught doing that?
Copy tomorrow.
Cool.
Yeah. Nice, man.
All right, so let's get back. Right there. All right. So, my however much I love the Oakland ones, love them. I'm gonna have to go with the trio from 1984: Jump, Hot for Teacher, and Panama. Um, yeah.
Can we have
that's going to be a popular opinion.
Can we have an honorable mention too?
You really need to get 4 in there? God, whatever.
If we do an honorable mention, can we include Oakland 81? Does that count?
Yeah.
All right. That's my all of those in one is my honorable mention.
Nice. Cool.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair. But those videos start. We were so hungry for Van Halen at the start of '84, and getting Jump. It was a little off the beaten path, but we at the time, as Van Halen fans, were hungry for more Van Halen. And I think that all of those captured that band live as well as you can capture them.
But put those in order, though. I mean, you just I'm curious to know like what you thought was your favorite. What would you have number 1?
Panama. All day.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
You know.
Second and third?
Jump second. Hot for Teacher third.
Nice. 3 different guitars in 3 videos. Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's enough live stuff in there that yeah. That's my picks, guys.
Cool.
All right, Kurt.
Okay, I'm not going to pick Jump, even though that was probably the first time I saw Van Halen and learned about Van Halen. Obviously, 5150 is my first album I got for them, but I knew of Jump and Panama. But I'm going to have to say Hot for Teacher, just because at the age of 9, or probably 8, I was probably 8 when that came out on MTV, seeing it's like ingrained in my brain, Eddie walking down the long table in the library with that guitar and pointing the headstock to the camera and walking and doing his thing with the tennis shoes and the leather jacket or denim vest what he was wearing. It was just like, okay, this guy's the coolest guy in the world. How do I become him? Like, it was just awesome. And then, of course, seeing the girls dancing, the teachers in the classroom at the age of 8, it was just like, we didn't have MTV, but my grandma did. And every Sunday we would go to my grandma's to eat dinner, and we would all be glued in front of MTV because we didn't have it at home. So that I can remember seeing it for the first time, where I was sitting and everything. So that would be Hot for Teacher would be number 1. Number 2 would have to be Pound Cake. Just because From All for Carnal Knowledge was my first album that I remember it being released, and I was old enough to go buy it. Mm-hmm. So that was a big deal, seeing that video for the first time. I had purchased the album after seeing the video, so I knew he used the drill, but it was just cool seeing it. Again, you'll see a theme here. There's women all over the Pound Cake video, so I loved it. And then number 3, this is kind of out of left field, but I would say Don't Tell Me What Love Can Do. Man, in 95, That was the song, Neil talked about it a couple shows ago with the quote-unquote grunge scene.
Yeah.
It was a perfect song for that era. The clothing they were wearing, seeing Ed with the short hair and the goatee, it was just like, oh my gosh, what the heck? Like, he cut his hair, and he's still playing the Ernie Ball, which is my second favorite guitar that he played. So Don't Tell Me was probably up there with very memorable and one of my favorites. Honorable mention, as much as I wanted to try to pick a Dave song because I love both eras just as much as the other, I'm going to have to go with Dreams. Just because the whole whiskey, going back to the whiskey, doing the whole live thing in, the club that it started out with the band was cool. I love the beginning where they kind of did that newscast where they had all the fans running from one side of town to the other to get tickets and the helicopters coming in.
Yeah.
I just thought it was really well done. And then seeing them all four band members crammed into a little stage, John got to see him in person do that, but it was cool. Oh, not worthy. But it was cool to see that video with all of them there kind of doing their raw. Tony talked about a lot of the videos he liked was when they're on stage. Seeing that Dreams and seeing them live on stage like that, I thought was really cool. Just it was a memorable time, 90, what was that, 93, I think? I was old enough to absorb it all in and realize what's going on. So honorable mention would be Dreams off the live right here, right now.
Kurt,
good list, man.
You said that you were trying to include a Roth song on there.
Well, I got one, Hot for Teacher.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
But
yeah, I'm trying to include a Roth song, but Dreams.
What I'm saying is, I wanted to get another Roth in there so I could have 2 and 2, but Dreams was really up there for me, so I couldn't do what I wanted to do. That's what I meant. It's all about balance, in life and in selection for the Halenville show.
I'll balance his Roth out. Don't worry.
I can count on you. I knew that.
Which Dreams came first? The Blue Angel or the other one?
Well,
Blue Angel,
on this, yeah, because I was 86. But the Dreams on this volume 1 is the live version, right? Yeah. But the band really didn't have anything to do with the first Dreams video. I think what I read in the Van Halen Encyclopedia is that the Air Force put it together as a promotional video to try to get recruits. This was around the Top Gun thing when Top Gun was hot.
Right.
And Van Halen said, go ahead and use it. And then after they made it, they said, hey, their management said, hey, can we throw this thing on MTV? This is great. And that's what they did. So they really didn't have anything to do with putting it together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was the old Blue Angels. It was it wasn't the Hornets. It was like the F4 Falcon or something. Neil would know. He's a jet nerd.
Yeah. It was the Roth era of Blue Angels.
But you know how you can tell they were boy planes? You see their balls.
Yeah.
There's my Three Amigos plug right there. For you guys remember that movie? It's a boy plane. How do you know? You can see its balls. Oh, sorry. I'm a buzzkill.
All right, John.
How do I follow that? Anyway, I'm gonna go with Jump as number 1. I just think that was they were white hot, and they were crossing over into rarefied air where they were in everyone's public conscious. You could be a 70-year-old lady, you know what I mean, and you knew Jump, and you knew that they were everywhere. It was just at that moment where they became, huge. You know what I mean? On that next level, and in the anticipation for that album and that video, it's just like it's something I'll never forget. And so I'm gonna go with Jump, but I just love the whole performance aspect of the video, from Dave doing his Stevie Nicks spin around when Eddie's doing the keyboard solo on the dusty Oberheim OV8, and just that back flip that really was a front flip or whatever.
Right.
Reverse.
How do you do that?
How'd they do that?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, the Matrix doesn't come out till 98.
Yeah, right, exactly. Right. So that's definitely number one for me there. Number two.
So John, real quick, remember David Lee Roth said it cost the band $600 to make the Jump video.
Right. I guess it was 16 millimeter camera. On Hot for Teacher, I heard they spent more on marijuana than they did on the video. I remember somebody saying that too. They spent more on weed than they did on the video. So.
Well, the high school was closed that they did the Hot for Teacher video in. The band actually donated a bunch of money to the city to reopen the school because they that
was the same high school. That was the same high school from Grease. Remember Grease, the movie Grease?
Yeah,
that was John Marshall High School or something. So that and what was the other thing I always remember was on the blackboard. It was random numbers and letters, but I think it said, if you figure it out, if you matched up like number 19 to the letter in the alphabet, I think it said holy shit or something like that.
Holy shit.
Something like that. So my second favorite is Panama. It's probably, other than Unchained, the one song that I would tell people, it may be my favorite Van Halen song of all time. I just love that song, There you go. And
nice.
Putting his comfortable shoes on now. His sensible shoes on. He's putting it right now.
Nice.
There you go. But if anybody was going to ask me, what a Van Halen song might be to check out, it might be Panama. Unchained or Panama. That might be my go-to for people like that. I just thought the video is amazing. I love the the hair dryer and Eddie's. They're in the Lamborghini.
Hanging from the wires, and they're all like going crazy.
Yeah.
And we got to see the Kramer 5150, I think, really for the first time on video in that song. And, so that was another reason why we all watched it over and over and over, just to freeze shots of that guitar. There you go.
Yeah,
there it is. Yeah, I love that. That's very memorable.
Yeah. So that's my number two. My number three is going to be Hot for Teacher. I'm not going to stray. For all the reasons that we already mentioned and by everybody else. I just think it was a funny video, and I guess isn't that Phil Hartman that does Waldo's voice too from SNL? I think right at the beginning. Yeah, I just think it was. Listen, I don't know what Dave and Pete Angelis were attempting to do with Pretty Woman. It was just out there. This one was a little bit more commercially acceptable. You know what I mean? It made a little more. I think they learned on that one, the other one. I just think that's a great one. And my honorable mention is going to be Right Now. I just think that was another big song for them, and I just think a really well done video. In the age where grunge was coming in, and they took home the award for that video. I think
a lot of awards,
Yeah, so I just think it was a right video at a right time, and it's just, and that song is still like another one of those stadium rockers that's played at, in every sporting event. So I'll go with that as my honorable mention.
Another fun fact on the Hot for Teacher video is they borrowed that hot rod buggy from a local hot rod guy from Pasadena, and there you go. So he let him use it for the video, and apparently the burnout scene at the very end was not scripted. Dave did it on his own, and apparently the guy flipped out.
Really?
He oh, what's he doing? And he was pissed, and immediately had everyone get out of the car, and he basically took his car and he got out of there. He was pissed off.
Oh shit!
It's fun, man.
Got the take.
No fun, right? What
he knew what he was doing.
Yeah. I mean, how do you just drive off, especially in a school parking lot? You got to burn out,
guess
right?
They got to take the.
Yeah.
They got the shot.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh man.
All right, so I'm gonna go. I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to go I guess it doesn't really matter. I was going to go honorable mention 3, 2, 1, but
no, you can't. That's against the policy.
I can actually do anything I want. I can. Hey, I was here on time, so I can.
don't touch my drum set.
Yeah. Touch my drum set.
You're over the line.
Right, so
my big Lebowski reference. You're over the line. Mark it, Donnie.
So I'm gonna throw this out, and since everybody's kind of it would be real easy to just go straight chalk and say the top 3 from '84. I want to try and bring some variety to the show and
sorry, Tony.
No, it's honestly that would be I would love to do that. I would love to do that, but I want us to talk about other videos.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna kind of. Yeah, I do agree with everything that John said about Right Now. I think that was absolutely just an incredible video. It was well done. It was well orchestrated. The fact that the text in the video didn't match the lyrics to the song means you had to, it kept your eye interested in the video. It wasn't anything that you could turn away from because you're listening to the words and then you're reading right now what's going on. And it was just really well done. I personally just wish the song wasn't as played as often as it was. That was, eventually, and like you said, being, once you start going to like basketball games and stuff and it's there playing all the time, it just kind of, and this has no fault of the video, and I'm strictly talking about video alone. That video was just amazing. It was awesome. So that would be my honorable mention. My third choice, and this is going to be shocking, but it's got nothing to do with the song. It's strictly based on the video. I'm surprisingly going to go with the song Feel So Good. And there's a reason why I liked that video. And it was because at this point in my life, I'd been in a band for 3 or 4 years. I was now studying all things Van Halen. I was paying attention to the guitars. I was fascinated by everything. So my eye to detail was a lot more intent. And I noticed that Eddie brought the Frankenstrap back out for this video with the Kramer, the neck, the Tom Anderson neck on it. And I just remember being fascinated by that because I thought the Frankenstrap was long gone. I thought it was strictly 5150 at the time. So I just remember every time that video came on, didn't really care for the song a whole lot, but every time the video came on, I was just staring at the video, staring at the guitar. Every time he turned around and swung, and I'm like trying to look, I'm like, oh, is Kramer written in gold and all this? I was like, wow, that is so different. And then I started to wonder, is that a new guitar or is that really the Frankie? Because at this point I didn't know you could put new necks on guitars and that type of stuff. That was all new to me. So that video kept me interested and made me watch it over and over and over again. And so I would rank that there just because of that factor.
And they did that was the one where it was done in like weird different recordings, like the actual
like
speed
moving past you, like
yeah, and everything was superimposed on each other. Like they weren't standing next to each other. They would pass by like on treadmills and things. It was a weird looking. I thought it was cool looking. It was a cool.
Mike had the Charvel bass in that one too, right? From Diver Down Tour, the blood, like the red paint splatter. He had that in there too, right?
Yeah. My number 2 song, I'm gonna go with Unchained, and I'm gonna say just because that was not the first video, or that was the first video of Van Halen that I saw, and I remember being like, what the hell is this? Who is this band? And I was really, I was too young. I hadn't even picked up a guitar yet, but I was still like, oh my God, that guitar's got polka dots on it. And it was just like something fascinating about it. And it had a live energy, and he was, the guitar player I thought was dressed like an Oompa Loompa, and he's jumping around. And I was just like, I don't know. There was just something about that. I gotta love that Unchained video. And finally, I will go back to a little more of the obvious choice. I think Panama will always be my straight up number 1 video. And it's really not close. That's always going to be my favorite video of all time. For all the reasons you guys said, John, the 5150 guitar introduction was, oh my God, what is that? That's that thing. Just seeing them bounce around live. It was intercut with some clips of them playing it live from the show because the video was done in the sound check. but it was interspliced with some live performance. But it just looked like a band having the time of their lives. Oh my God, it was such an up tempo, a rocking song. It was fun, and at that point, I think I was far more interested in performance based videos than the story narratives and stuff. Later on, I would get into that stuff, and I did like some of their other, like Kurt mentioned, "Don't Tell Me What Love Can Do." I thought was great. You know, there's when they started incorporating story into their videos, I thought that they did a really good job with some of them. But Panama that's my favorite.
Oh yeah, it is mine too. Absolutely, yeah. All right, so Analog Kid is going to give us his picks, but before we do that, let's take care of a couple of things. Brendan B. Squared Cigar Box Guitars. He will make you one. His links are in the description. And if I'm not mistaken, Lenny Lou in the chat already got hers. Let us know, Lenny, if you have yours already. And for
Those
those
are awesome.
of us with new tattoos, Ink the Original Essential Tattoo Care high-grade formulas with organic ingredients to hydrate and protect environment and reef safe. Fight the fade.
You gotta fight the fade.
You gotta fight the fade.
Fight the fade and save the reef.
And once again, for those of you that want a very nice guitar built, Neil Daly's links are down below. He's got a bunch of cool stuff right behind him.
Badass.
Show us that view again, Neil. Nice.
That's Spankter vision right there. I see the drum set too.
Don't touch my drum set.
Oh, that's awesome.
Actually, since I mentioned
Never fade.
Yeah. This is the
Tom Anderson neck.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, you got the right Kramer sticker too.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, this one I haven't even finished building this guy yet, but this is I'm excited about that one. I love that neck. Just love the neck.
Cool version of the Frankie. So Fruitcake, we got a few people in the chat who've listed their favorite videos. So Lenny Lou was Panama right now, and then Hot for Teacher. Keith Campbell was Bottoms Up Unchained. He must have said another one.
He said he skipped down to another one. He said some Panama honorable mention. What'd you say there?
Oh yeah. And then Simon was Hot for Teacher, Panama, and Jump. So thanks guys for putting in your.
I think we're seeing a pattern here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, let me answer Keith. He asked if who put the quiet springs, the noiseless springs in Tony's guitar. That was me. That was my choice.
Yeah. So Lenny says that
she got her box, her cigar box.
Yeah.
Oh, kick ass.
I've heard the pickups are good.
Awesome.
Yeah, let me show a picture of that again. I think it's one of these. Let me see. It's the one that's got the kill switch on it.
Oh, you're kidding me. That's the cool neck or the headstock, I think.
Middle right. Yeah.
That's awesome. That is so cool.
Yeah, that is hers.
Awesome.
Nice.
That would be perfect to take camping if you had, the little amp that runs on batteries.
With a jar of Vaseline.
Jergens. Reef safe Jergens.
Fight the fade.
Too good.
No, I gave you my word, Kurt. I'm never going to show it again.
Thank you. I'll Venmo you the money later.
Nah. So Kurt, you guys got a very exciting show happening next weekend.
Friday night.
Part 2 of Live Without a Net.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. Tony's actually going to be one of our guests, so he's going to join us. We're going to rank every track on Live Without a Net. So the week prior's video was more of a big overview of the live recording and kind of what it meant to us, and big things about it. And then Friday, we're actually going to rank each track, and then I was going to give Tony the opportunity to just talk about that 5150 tour and talk about. How many shows did you see that year?
2.
So we'll just give you an opportunity to talk about both shows and how they paired up with Live Without a Net, and what was better and what you thought was cool on the live show that they didn't show on the live DVD. So it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Are you giving each track a rating, or are you doing worst to best?
We do a rating each track. So we'll start off with
Like
track
number,
1.
right?
Yep. And we'll all go from 1 to 10, 10 being, never a skip.
Never a skip, baby.
Brad and Andrew sometimes will give like a 12.5, or they'll go completely off the Richter scale. I like to stay, in between lines, follow the rules. So I go 1 through 10. But
nice.
Well, that list of those songs on that night of that tour, that's going to be fun.
Yeah. Man, I mean, all you guys are huge Van Halen fans, and I know, CK, that was your first tour ever seeing him live, was that 5150 tour. But even for the people that had never seen him live, that was the first opportunity to see a full actual live show, and it wasn't doctored up like the Live Right Here Right Now DVD. Yeah. I'm sure they mixed it a little bit, but they didn't do any like re-recordings or anything like that. But man, what a great DVD or VHS, or my brother had the Laserdisc, and he made me put like snow gloves on when I would pull it out of the sleeve and put it in the Laserdisc player because he didn't want me to scratch it.
Nice.
But yeah,
nice.
He probably doesn't have that.
Come full circle to the.
No, I'm gonna see his band's playing in 2 weeks in Idaho. I'm gonna go see him, but I doubt he even has it anymore. If he did, he would probably give it to me. But that would be cool to have the Laserdisc.
Kind of cool collector's items.
Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah.
They're like records, but like
I'm sure.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm sure I'm not alone in this, but I honestly, without a doubt, I have seen Live Without a Net far more than any movie I've ever seen or any TV show. Like far more. I've probably seen it about 1,000 times.
Top Gun's up there with me. I've probably seen that as many times.
Plus, it frame by frame.
Why? Because they're male planes.
No, because they got their shirts off and they're playing volleyball with oil all over them.
Playing with the boys.
No, it's just that Top Gun was, that was my big movie when I was a kid, and still to this day, I have watched Live Without a Net at least 500 times, I would say.
Like CK, like you said, frame by frame.
You all know it frame by frame.
Frame by frame, exactly. You know its song. You don't even have to hear the audio.
Yeah.
You see one frame and you go, "That's this song," and it's at this part.
Exactly.
Actually, Kurt, I forgot what show it was that we did this when we were ranking certain songs. I forgot what episode we were doing, and you said, "Neil, you're going to know this one. It's from Live Without a Net," and he does the hair flip. And I was like, "Oh, yeah. Summer Nights." And it was like,
"Yep,
yeah, that's exactly right. We all do that."
Yeah. Yeah, the old Johnny Bean show, Steve Anderson used to have Live Without a Net playing on his big screen behind him, and they would always call out, what song they were playing just by seeing it, not hearing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that 60 frame per second version that's on YouTube now is incredible. Have you guys seen that?
I've watched that at least a little bit of that every day for about 2 weeks straight.
Yeah, I think I said to
at
Andrew, I said it's like somebody sprayed the window and just like wiped the window off the. It's like whoa! It's just it looks incredible. So
it's like when we went from VHS to DVD.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like my life after I met Kurt. All of a sudden, everything is just clear.
Yeah.
Whoa, I've gone blurry since I met you.
John, has it been upgraded to 4K on YouTube?
Has what?
Is that why you're freaking out about it? Has it been upgraded to 4K?
Yeah.
Because that's never been put on Blu-ray, right?
Some guy did it with software. He did it with software. Yeah. Yeah. Some kind of. He says it in the comments somewhere. The software that he used, but it looks. And I looked at it I streamed it on the TV. It didn't look as good on the TV, but if you're watching it on something small like your phone or your laptop, probably it's mind-blowingly good. It's like, wow, it looks really, really good.
And it's the
close-up shots are great. The only thing, like every once in a while, like a wide shot or a distance shot, you can see it looks a little pixelated and fast.
Right.
But the rest of it whatever software the guy used is amazing.
It's never been. Watching. It's never been put in DVD, and it should, or not DVD, but Blu-ray. We don't even know if the original footage is still around. They had that fire in Warner Brothers archives, but Jay Hannon always talks about, could you imagine if they made a Blu-ray where you could pick alternate views, Alex's drum set or on the stage or from, and do that kind of thing and maybe
there's more stuff out there. There's more stuff. Yeah. There's stuff. We read it where there's a show I was at in '82 that supposedly was filmed by Warner Brothers that no one's ever seen. So there'll be more.
But Neil, if they did that Blu-ray with all those options and then put the Unleashed documentary at the end, that would be so cool.
Well,
I've watched that 100 times too.
Oh yeah, me too, absolutely. But then even if they did that Blu-ray release of it, then throw in the songs for some reason that they left off. I don't know performance-wise why they didn't open with "You Really Got Me" or why they cut "Dreams" and "Jump Out" or something. We don't know, but throw the whole thing in there. It should be like the extended Snyder cut of that video or something like that. That would be freaking awesome.
So I'll get some royalties for it.
With the searchlights, remember the spotlights were going all over the place, and you'd hear Eddie playing, in the background.
Yeah, they missed that whole.
Yeah, when they're backstage and he's warming it before they come out. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh yeah,
that would have been great to tag that on the beginning.
Yeah.
It was nice at the Play It Loud at the Met when you walked out of the guitar part exhibit, and they had a big screen and. Before you walked into the room where Eddie's like amp setup from the clubs was in there and everything, they had a huge screen and people would sit in like these comfortable like things they could sit on, and it was almost like a not an IMAX, but it was kind of like that idea. And you walk in there and it was Eddie playing the solo from Live Without a Net, which was awesome. You could sit there and watch doing the Eruption, doing the tapping part of Eruption, and it was just so cool to see people just sitting there like watching.
Security was like, Mr. Conklin, we are closing. You got to get out of the chair. Let's go.
Watch that one. Watch him.
I know you're wearing a diaper, but you got to get out of here.
I made my poor wife, okay, we got to circle back around. We got to go back to Frankenstein. He's like.
Yeah, Mr. Conklin, why did you bring in your own beanbag?
Yeah. I actually, they're like some of these, listen, I'm from New York, but one of these New York museum snob ladies that was on the tour, I was videoing it, and she's like, "You can't video this." I'm like, I was videotaping like the guitar, but they were talking about it. Some guy was trying to talk about it on the tour, so I figured let me put the camera on the tour guide like that. And she's like, "Excuse me, you can't video." I was like, "Oh, shut up!"
I actually already did, ladies. So it's too late.
Exactly. And you know what? And what he was saying was wrong too. I'm looking at my wife going, "He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's wrong. Yeah.
Put it on VH links and stick them to the wolves.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
All right, CK. We didn't forget about you, buddy.
All right, my list is pretty predictable. Am I going 3-1 or 1-3?
1-3.
Whatever you want.
1-3. Okay, hot for teacher number 1.
I'd go 3-1.
2-3-1.
Yeah,
Too late.
Hot for teacher. And what else?
Panama jump. Oakland honorable mention.
Cool.
Jump transcended hard rock. Suddenly, people who didn't like Van Halen liked Van Halen. And hot for teacher, maybe Dave's coloring my lenses a bit, but that was like 80s pop kitsch. That transcended music. That was part of pop culture. I was there when this all came out. I lived it.
That's awesome.
Hot for Teacher was a video that people would talk about whether they liked Van Halen or not.
That's true.
Van Halen transcended pop culture that year in 1984. They were part of the lexicon of America.
Yeah, they had a story script, behind their videos. It just wasn't them, playing live on a stage.
Those videos played a major part of that.
Yeah.
Because prior to that, they were a band you listened to on the radio, and you kind of had to be in the know, and you had to go to the show.
Right.
Suddenly, they were on TV.
They were a blue-collar band.
And everybody was tuned in. And they were the first rock band to really embrace that medium and do something interesting with it. They made memorable videos that people would talk about in the lunchroom, whether or not they liked the band or not. They had transcended.
I don't remember any band having
At least
that.
that's how I felt it.
In the 80s like that, when that album came out. Do you remember anybody, DK, like in the 80s? Do you remember any other band? I don't remember like Bon Jovi or even anything like that.
Bon Jovi wasn't even out then.
No, but I'm saying, but that album, 1984, when it came out, I don't remember any band. I mean, everybody talked about that. When I was in high school, it was like everybody couldn't wait for.
Prince came a little later that same year, but he was a solo artist. And much like Michael Jackson, he was a solo artist. They were a rock band.
Yeah,
There weren't rock bands taking the video form and doing something with it that everybody was talking about. Jump, like you said, it's $600. All it is them performing. There's nothing to it, but there's something magical about that spoke to lots of people who were not into Van Halen. Suddenly, were taking notice, and it helped that was a #1 single as well.
Yeah.
Panama, same thing. And then Hot for Teacher, I just felt like they took it to another level because now they're writing like a little storyboard, Waldo going to school. Like people were talking about the bits, not necessarily even the song. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, Dave took that later, but that was the first time Van Halen put a bit in front of the video. And people would quote that, sit down, Waldo, for the whole bit. People would repeat those lines.
We still do.
Right, exactly. But I mean, I'm trying to put myself.
I wonder where those kids are now.
If you read the Van Halen News Desk article on Hot for Teacher, they talk about them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of the kids was in the Christmas Story.
Oh, that's right. He has a fight, right?
Yeah, Michael Anthony's kid was the kid Grover Dill.
There you go.
Fragile.
Yeah, it's Italian. the other thing too, CK, is Dave took, when he went to be a solo artist, he took the videos to another stratosphere with him and Pete Angelis, Dave TV and all that stuff. Yeah.
When we were kids, we would all quote the video that he did for like Yankee Rose almost became irrelevant after the fact. No one really seemed to care about the song. Everybody wanted to quote the whole bits in the beginning. You know what I mean? The Dead Jelly Donut. I mean, that stuff is still quotable today. It's part of pop culture,
Yeah.
He kind of transcended his own music with his, little skits.
Right. Do you guys remember the one where he did the fat suit?
Yeah.
Did you know that's coming up this year?
What, you mean the anniversary?
The anniversary?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
So he goes into the future and says that in 2021 he's going to be fat, and if you look at the reader board on the Anaheim Stadium. It says David Lee Roth last show.
What's odd about that date?
What's that?
October 10th.
It's a couple days.
That's his birthday.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, October 10th.
My wedding anniversary.
Is it really?
This year, he'll be what, 67? I've lost track. How old is he?
Probably so.
He's up there.
Yeah.
And he was 65?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So young.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. 1954, right?
Yeah.
I'm not good at math.
Neither am I. But those, yeah, exactly what Kurt said. Those Dave clips are classic. But Hot for Teacher was kind of like the precursor to that. It had a little bit at the beginning. And I thought it was genius how they play themselves. You know, they have themselves as kids. That was hilarious.
Oh,
yeah.
Hilarious.
Oh, genius.
And then, like Kurt brought up earlier, I mean, that is so iconic. Eddie walking down the library table playing the solo. It's like once you see it, you can never forget it. You know what I mean?
That table goes on for miles.
Yeah, well, I remember, like Kurt also said, I remember then trying to wear my school wardrobe based on the same.
And when Dave pulls up to the school at the end of the day, class dismissed, and right on cue they come out like school's out. It's just
it's perfect.
Great.
Yeah,
it's so good.
We lost Neil; he's frozen.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and the Panama one too. You know, just
yeah, that's a great one too.
They took a quick shot on stage and made it cool. You know, they had the clips because originally they were going to do a bunch of stuff for Jump, right? And they had the guy in the video camera following everyone around LA, you know, Dave on the motorcycle and them getting out of the limo and in the hotel and all that stuff. Well, those clips made the Panama video.
2 Neils.
Yeah. Hey, that's cool. What did I just say?
You said I'm hungry.
Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah.
You said my picks weren't accurate. Everyone else's picks were accurate.
I said if you're not wearing pink pants, don't bother.
Kurt, I want to show my daughter who's 19 the Hot for Teacher video as like a snapshot of 80s pop culture.
Yeah.
But I hesitate for 2 reasons. One, I think she'll be really offended.
How old is she?
2, like the girls coming out and everything, I think that'll really offend her big time.
How old is she?
19. She wouldn't consider that acceptable. B, I don't think she'll see the humor in it that we do.
What if you
have to like come up through that time? I think.
What if you use it as a learning tool and say, "Hey, this is what some people thought was acceptable back in '84." Like I didn't make it, but like look what was on like cable TV back. Yeah.
Look what I used to do on the weekend.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s.
I thought this was a genius video. I thought it was
You can also turn it around because the teachers were kind of like empowered. You know what I mean? Like when she just rips that off, she was like, you know, it wasn't like.
I guess I just don't know which way she'll see it, and also I don't think she'll see the humor in it that we see.
Or what you do is you show her the video, and then when she reacts to the teacher being glorified in the bikini and blah blah blah, you say, "Oh my God, I didn't even notice there was a girl in the video. I was just watching the band."
Yeah.
Yeah, we know that's not true.
I just think it's such a.
Forgive me for being a glasses half full.
Microcosm of 1984. Like if I wanted to show someone 4 minutes of 1984, I would show them the Hot for Teacher video. I think it's that kitschy piece of pop culture film.
No, it is.
And so fun. The song's so great. It's just I don't know. Maybe I'm going a little overboard about it.
No, it is.
That's how I see it anyway. I know everybody sees things differently.
No, I agree with you. I think
up then, and there's a lot of nostalgia too.
But I think even the way I react to the video now is different than the way I reacted as a teenager. I mean, as a teenager, I think
I'm watching it through my daughter's eyes, and when I see them come out, I'm like, "Oh, that's not going to go down well."
But see, as I've gotten older, now I watch it more as a comedy. I think it's amusing to me. It's funny as opposed to when I was young. It was more raucous, like horny teenager youth kind of thing. Now I don't feel that way when I watch it. I just laugh. I laugh at like
I view it as a comedy piece.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I remember when Roth was in the band still, and he put out a couple of his out there.
Nice.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome. An outtake
Even
picture.
though Dave had
dream
his
casting.
own stuff,
Yeah, they look just like him.
Yeah.
I think that I would have never dreamed he'd leave that band. You know.
Right.
They imploded.
Seen that one?
Oh yeah,
No, I've
that's
never
a
seen, no.
rare shot. Right? Yeah,
that's Dave.
I have seen that. Yeah. I wonder.
Is that on the video set?
Yeah. You can see the cameraman.
Awesome.
Is he on the library table? I think he is, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Wearing green Asics.
I also think one of the funniest parts about that video is the dance number and how badly choreographed they all are.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, that's
right.
that. But like I said, I think I watch that now and I just think it's amusing because it's just a band that was just having fun and they didn't give a shit. They didn't try to.
They were drinking, obviously.
Obviously, they were. But the guitar player is keeping better rhythm with the choreography than the bass than the drummer. And it's like that's not supposed to happen.
He was especially bad, Alex. I always focus on him because he's like totally off.
He's completely off.
I think it plays well also because not only was MTV this huge cultural force then, but I was in high school when that video came out. So it's like it's the perfect video for when you're in high school because you just wish that high school was that amazing and fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
It's like the fantasy high school,
80s were great.
Kurt.
They even did the cute little, the funny epilogue thing where it's like, where are they now kind of thing at the very end of the video. I thought that was just brilliantly funny. I thought that all that stuff was great.
See, there's so many elements to the video. There was a lot put into that short little 4-minute film or whatever it is.
Dave would be a good game show host, I think.
Absolutely.
Now, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He would. Absolutely. All right. So let me go over some big news in the Van Halen world.
I thought we were in trouble.
All right.
You are.
So next week, on the last day of this month, Wolfgang Van Halen opens his tour, opening for Guns N' Roses, their opening night also at Hershey Park. And so next week, right here on the show, we are going to be talking all things opening night, Wolfgang tour.
Dude's got some pipes.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Yeah. So that is going to be your card for next
look at that pic,
week.
man.
That's awesome. That is so awesome.
We're going to cover this tour, where, how many, what the set list was.
Temperature outside, everything.
We're going to cover it all.
Costume changes.
Right here, yes.
Bras thrown on stage.
Yeah, right.
We talked about this before. Starting next Monday, these big tours, will have started. So there'll be a lot of new uploads on YouTube. We'll probably see each song of Wolf, uploads. But we're gonna keep track of the tour, stop by stop. We'll show stills. We'll have the numbers. And we'll be talking all things Wolfgang Van Halen tour.
I want to know an itemized list of the guitars he plays for each song. during the tour too. I want to know if he busts out anything of Eddie's or if it's all strictly the Wolfgang's and what he does. I know he plays at 335. I know, I've seen he's kind of marking his own territory, but he did say he played the Frankie a little bit on the album for like 2 songs, and he's not going to bring it out, but I am very curious to see what songs he plays, what guitars for. I can't wait to see that stuff.
Yeah, so we'll be covering that tour hot and heavy here each week. So yeah, I'm excited as I can be. This tour starts next Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see if he does a show in Eddie's pink pants. That's what Kurt wants to know.
Yeah.
I'll bet some money on that one.
So we will definitely be talking all things opening night Hershey Park next week.
That'd be cool. And Tony, when's your show that you're going to see him?
The end of September.
Okay.
In Raleigh.
Yeah.
But
he's coming to Portland and Seattle, and I'm going to try to go to one of them. I'm not sure which one. I'm going to scrounge tickets somehow.
Yeah. So you guys keep it right here. We will be covering this tour and everything involving it right here every Sunday night. There might be one show of that week. There might be a couple shows that we'll talk about, but we'll definitely be talking about the shows upcoming next weekend. This coming weekend is opening night, Hershey Park.
I can't wait to talk about the first time Wolfgang just knocks Axl Rose out. I know that's coming.
You never know.
I know. I'm excited to see Slash again. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's got those new guitars out too. Those Epiphones look pretty sweet. I like that gold top.
Yeah. I've had the luxury of seeing Slash like the last couple of years. He's toured with Miles Kennedy, and they played small, like the Palladium in LA, which holds 1,000 people, 1,500 people, something like that. I've seen him like 2 or 3 shows in a row, and you get up. I'm 25 feet away from him, and it's just insane to be that close to something in a club setting, not like a stadium.
Is that when he goes out as Slash's Snake Pit?
No, he doesn't even do that anymore. It's Slash featuring Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators. And he's got the same band. Miles Kennedy's the singer, and it's the same touring band. Actually, Wolfgang's guitar player.
Yep.
Frank Sidoris. That he's in Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators too. So the reason he can go on tour with Wolfgang is because Slash is in Guns N' Roses during this period of time. So that
I'm
band
sure he hooked him up. I'm sure he lined them up together. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's he's awesome. He's fantastic. It's such a great show. Yeah.
And
sorry
Slash
to get off
and
subject, but
Slash and Ed were buds too.
Yeah. Slash revealed after he passed, he showed texts, that he was talking to him right up till the end too, and that's awesome. I love seeing stuff like that. I'm a sucker for like feel good stories. When you think like, oh, these guys are rivals, they're competitors, blah blah blah. No, man.
No, they experienced quite a few things. They were both experienced racism as young children, and
very much so. Yeah.
Addiction and lead singer disease, and
there you go.
The whole nine.
Absolutely, yeah.
And becoming instant superstars off your debut, that kind of story was almost the same kind of story.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, making such a name for yourself in the music industry, but playing completely different styles of music. So, you know, Slash has never ever been compared to Eddie because he didn't play like that. They were completely different styles. And I thought that was, you know, that was cool. That allowed them to kind of have a kinship and a friendship because no one would ever say Slash is ripping off Eddie. So
yeah.
Which is what Wolf's doing too, which I love. We all know that Wolf can play like Eddie if he wants to, and he's not doing it. I think that's awesome. So
yeah. He it all starts next weekend,
yeah.
So I'm excited as I can be. Yeah, they play Hershey Park, and then a couple of days later they play Fenway Park.
There you go.
So,
all right, guys, I hate to bump out of here, but I got to go. Thanks for letting me pop on and pop off. It's been a pleasure.
You're always popping off.
I know. I learned it from watching you.
We are gonna wind it down. Anyway,
yeah.
Kurt.
Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining.
Yeah.
Lenny, Simon, Keith, Jay was on for a second. Who else? Dwight, Jeff Davidson.
To everybody in the chat that's been watching live tonight, just so you guys know, I'm far more sincere when I thank you than Kurt actually is. What a dick. Yeah.
So Rev, big show coming up Friday night.
Friday night, 9 o'clock Pacific time.
Live without a net.
Live without a net and without pants.
Midnight Eastern.
So hot.
This coming Friday night.
Yeah. Tony will be on. He'll be probably 3 cups of coffee in, a couple toothpicks, keeping his eyes open.
Nice. Clockwork Orange style tape.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Gaffer's tape.
I did see the first part of your show, though. It's fantastic. That Live Without a Net episode you did, part 1, was awesome. Oh. So good.
Did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah,
Jay
not like
Hannon?
you. I don't just jump in and jump out when I want. I'm not like you.
Oh.
CK, you got my back? You got my back, CK?
Yeah, he's being a little rough one.
I need your help, bud.
Maybe he's dropping down on that list. He's not going to overtake Eddie tonight.
Yeah. All right. CK is now number 5.
Oh.
But yeah, it was a good show, Neil. Thank you. And it's like the most views we've had on the 5150 show on that channel. Well,
that's awesome.
I think
I'm not surprised though. It's awesome, but I'm not surprised. I mean, that was so informative. The photos you guys went through were sick. It was just so good, so good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, you guys are the best. Right, I'll let you guys close this thing out. I'm gonna go. I gotta attend to something real quick. So, you guys have a great week. You're the best. CK, I sent you that article again. Cool, so hopefully, if you got time this time to read it, John, it's great seeing your voice and hearing your face. Tony,
Rev,
thank you, man.
You, bro.
You got a face for radio.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, guys.
You guys hang out backstage a second, and I'm going to run this clip. Thanks for being here, everyone. We'll see you right back here next Sunday night. The Wolfgang Tour will have started.
Awesome.
You'll hear all about it next week right here. Have a great week.
Love y'all.